Hey guys, I'm Jordy, and with Firelands fast approaching, I thought you guys could all use 8 underlooked tips that we picked up on the PTR that will help you get through your first clear. Alright, first up, number 8. I mentioned this in the Beth'Talak guide, but a mage can stay up top on the web during Beth's Smoldering Devastation and prevent a bunch of damage on the raid down below using Ice Block, a well-timed Cauterize proc, and Mirror Images. If done correctly, Beth will be too distracted to cast Venom Raid on the raid, and the tank will have time to shoot back up and grab her before she gets the cast off. Super handy to cut down on raid damage and save healer mana. Alright, next up, number 7. For the trash leading up to Rhyolith, there's a gauntlet where the raid has to dodge falling meteors and waves of trash, which can be kind of annoying, but if a paladin or a hunter with deterrence pops their immunity and runs up to pull the big fire elemental at the top of the hill, he will retreat and the waves of adds stop spawning. This is super handy to cut down on trash time and any shenanigans that this hill might cause. Alright, number 6, speaking of trash, with important epics locked behind rep, consider trash farming before your raid week 1, if you can, for strong trash drops and rep. The trash will stop giving rep at a certain level. I think it's honored, so if you do this, you should be ahead of most people. Handy to get those items earlier. Okay, number 5, when pulling a list resort after the first time, if you tuck in here very specifically, she won't knock the raid back when you pull her. We use this to help get the raid back up to full HP very quickly and more uptime for everyone on the boss as she sweeps across the field, claws out. A small thing, but super helpful. Okay, number 4, on Major Domo, as he stuns the raid and begins casting Molten Seeds, if your class has an immunity or a DK AMS, you can spam it so that the second that they come out of the stun, you're immune to the application of the seed. This helps you do maximum damage to the boss as they won't drop their concentration buff and makes the fight that much shorter. Very nice. Okay, number 3, on Ragnaros, casters can use the trinket Sorrow Song. Yes, this rare dungeon trinket that drops from Siamat in the Lost City of Tolvir dungeon that gives a static 1710 spell power for 10 seconds every 20 seconds whenever a target is below 35%. As the DPS check for Rag and most of Phase 4, he's below that threshold, this will be up a lot and will make these phases even shorter. This is super good for prog and likely better than what you're using on this fight specifically. Okay, number 2, high-powered bolt guns. This engineering item does a huge amount of AoE damage and is super good in many places in the raid, but especially on the Searing Seeds on Rag. It absolutely trucks these guys and can keep them from reaching you if done correctly. Paired with Big Daddy's, Cataclysm's version of grenades, you should always have something to contribute on these guys, especially those melee who aren't doing much. Okay, and the last tip, number 1, another thing for Rag and the Searing Seeds. We have a warrior stand off to the side of the raid as the seeds are cast and move out for a bit as the seeds land, dropping his way out of the stack, and then returning to the group before the explosion. Once he's done that, the one fixated on him is a good 20 to 40 yards further away from the others, which lets him jump into the big stack of adds and cast Blade Storm, doing a huge amount of damage to these things safely, as only the seed associated with him will fixate on him. It's a high skill play, but super valuable if done correctly. Alright, well that's 8 lesser known tips for Firelands. I'm sure there's many more, so if you have any, hit me up in the comments with them. This place has a lot of secret tech that many don't know, so help your fellow raiders out and share them. If you enjoyed this video, consider doing me a solid and hitting that like or even subscribing. It helps me a ton and allows me to keep making this kind of stuff, so thank you, I super appreciate it. Alright, that's it for me. See you all in the next one.